Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Reusable Colonization. So today we're going to be sending a scanning satellite to the Mun to scan for resources. Because my hope is that at latest by episode 7 we should be able to start mining. So here you see the reusable shuttle system on the pad as usual, getting ready to take off. So I'm going to fast forward this part because you've seen it before. Here I have a slight problem where I had the staging set up wrong, so the decoupler that's holding the probe actually staged, so I end up having to revert the flight and do it all over again. It's a small problem and a quick fix. So here we are trying the launch again. So usually I don't have, in this series, I don't really have any issues with reverting flights as long as they're barely off the ground. I mean, I would consider it cheating if I reverted once I had flown, I don't know, 3/4 of a mission, but if it's basically still on the pad, then I'll let that slide. I haven't had to use my quick saves yet, and I'm hoping to stick to that, but if I really have to, then I will. This payload is pretty light, so the first stage should be able to accelerate me quite a long way. And there goes the first stage. So I'm using the nuclear engines as well as the regular, more normal second stage engine just because that will help me circularize faster. So the plan now is just do my transfer and get to the Mun. Should be easy enough. Before I do any of that though, I need to circularize, and then also I need to switch back to the first stage so it can land. Okay, now that that's done, I can get back to the first stage. It's the same landing as you've seen many times before. I'm thinking in maybe a later version of the shuttle, if I don't have a very heavy payload, I can just, I can actually do a boost back burn and try and land this thing at KSC. That would, well, make it more reusable. Or I guess I could have a ship or something out here waiting. That would take quite a lot of precision though, in terms of landing, so I'm not sure if I'll ever try that. Okay, so I cut the part where I was transferring to the Mun. You all know what that looks like. So here I'm just going to release the satellite. So here I sort of forgot to lower the force percentage on the decoupler, so it's a little bit violent, but it's not too bad. So here the satellite goes bouncing just between the two solar panels. It's pretty lucky that I didn't break anything. But now we're clear. So we're almost in As you may or may not have noticed, I did not do a plane change once I got into orbit, and that was around Kerbin, and that was intentional, so that my orbit around the Mun would initially be slightly angled. As it turns out, I got almost a perfect 45-degree angle, so that's pretty close. I mean, well, it's closer to the final orbit than it would have been if I just had an equatorial orbit. So this iron engine should have more than enough delta V to do quite a lot of maneuvers in the future. As you may notice, I did not include any docking ports. That's because I expect the service life of this satellite to be pretty much indefinite, as far as I can tell. I mean, I guess I can always find a way with KIS and CAS mod to attach a docking port if I really need to bring it somewhere else. But I'm pretty sure this iron engine will have more than enough delta V to get it anywhere. So here I am just doing the maneuver. It takes a long time. As you can tell, even with the video sped up, it's taking quite some time. So here we are with the sun barely poking out from behind the Mun, and I was a little worried about that because, well, without the solar panels working, the bird would probably just halt halfway because I wouldn't have enough electric charge. I only have one pretty small battery on board, so that wouldn't have ended well. But ends up working out fine. Okay, burn's almost done, and here I am just taking a screenshot because, well, I thought that was a pretty nice view, and I don't know, I just like taking nice screenshots when they appear. Okay, the burn is done. I'm just checking my periapsis and apoapsis and making sure it's perfect. So here you're about to see I try and perform an orbital survey, and then to my horror I realized that I did not add any communications arrays to this vessel at all. Now, I have not used I have not done any mining since the 1.2 update, so not sure. Did you need an antenna before 1.2? Not sure. Can't remember, but turns out that this satellite is basically worthless at this point. But this being a reusable series, I'm not allowed to just leave it up there. And so at this point I have a few options. I could either try and rendezvous with it with the shuttle and go and drag it all the way back to Kerbin, but I think that would be a waste of time. And, well, since I do have KIS and CAS mods installed, I can just send up a repair mission instead, which is what I'm thinking of doing. So here you can see the shuttle just doing a burn to get back to Kerbin, and I'm just going to have to send up a repair mission sometime soon before I can do any actual scanning. It's unfortunate, but it's got to be done. It's just one of those things that I'm sure plagues everyone that plays this game. You just spend so much time designing something, and then you realize once you get to your destination, oh wait, how could I have forgotten that one thing? So yeah, that's a pain. But it should give me Well, I guess I can find an efficient way to do it. There's no reason for me to send up a mission purely to repair. What I can probably do is, I was planning on putting some communication satellites in orbit around the Mun before I build the base. So what I can probably do is send up some communication satellites, and then with that same mission, go and repair the satellite. That would make a lot of sense. Anyway, here I am just lowering my periapsis just so I scrape Kerbin's atmosphere so I can aerobrake. I usually aim for 55,000 meters. That tends to go close to the limit in terms of heating, but it's usually safe enough. Here I went for 52 just because, don't like waiting. Just hope I don't explode. I haven't really decided what I would do in this series if I had a catastrophic mission failure. Assuming I didn't quick save or anything like that, I'm not sure. Whether I would just keep it authentic and then just consider the mission a total loss, or whether I'd just give myself a free do-over or something. Not sure. Here I come very close to that point. As you can see, parts of the shuttle are almost overheating. So here I'm just going to cut all the aerobraking parts because it's, well, boring. Here I am on my final descent. As you can imagine, I have not landed anywhere near KSC, especially considering I was coming back from an inclined orbit around the Mun, so I had very little hope of actually targeting that correctly. But it's not the end of the world. Didn't have that much fuel left anyway, so I didn't want to waste it trying to find a perfect landing site. I do wish I could have landed on the daytime side of the planet, though. Night landings are always annoying. So, thankfully it turns out we're over water, always makes the night landings easier. As you can see, we're going down quite quickly. This thing still flies like a brick. So let's just hope this landing goes well. And I lost one of the engines in the back, but it's mostly good. I'm almost completely in good shape. So anyway, here I am renaming the probe. Sort of tempted to name it like failed mission or something. At this point I'm pretty annoyed about forgetting the antenna, but what can I do? So you must all be wondering, what is this? So this being a reusable colonization series, I figured, well, it's not complete without an SSTO, clearly. So here is my first attempt at that. So I have not built many SSTOs in the past. I'm historically not very good at building them, and I'm even worse at flying them. So this is basically just a test run. One of the main reasons why I built this is because I realize it's overkill to always send the massive shuttle to do all kinds of missions. Like, there's no reason to send something that large if I'm just doing a small repair mission or bringing a very, very, very small satellite to the Mun, or what if I'm just getting crew from the station. So this is supposed to take care of that. So you might be wondering, am I just flying this for fun? No, not entirely, because this is supposed to be carrying 2 small, cheap communication satellites to the Mun. As you can see, that was a shaky takeoff, but I survived. One of the things I've noticed with flying SSTOs is the most important thing is speed. If when you get to 10 kilometers you're not already pushing 1,000 meters per second, things aren't going to go very well for you. I mean, that's just my personal experience. I'm sure there's a way to do it if you're better at flying these things, but for me, the only way it's ever worked is just to gain a lot of speed very, very fast. Just part of the reason why I have 4 of these jet engines on this thing. It's probably overkill, but I tried it with 2 and couldn't get it to work well. So, I mean, I'm already pushing Mach 3, and I'm only at 5,000 meters, so as you can see, the heating's starting to take over. As you can see, my computer's lagging a little bit. It's definitely not good enough to be recording and playing a game like KSP at the same time. It just barely manages. I'm just thankful I haven't had any crashes yet. So we're starting to get some overheating, but it's fine because I'm almost at 1,500 meters per second. So here I am just igniting the nuclear engines because I'm high enough for them to be at their maximum efficiency. And, well, I don't know, it just helps me accelerate faster, I guess. And these air-breathing engines are starting to shut down. So I need the nuclear engines to keep accelerating. Here I am just watching my apoapsis. And, okay, we are just about reaching space now. So my strategy for this is to just go horizontal and just keep the nuclear engines burning the whole time. That should have me almost circularized by the time I get to my apoapsis. If not, I can always switch the jets to closed cycle. To be honest, what I could do is, in a later version of this, I could switch out the Rapier engines for a more efficient jet engine, and then, because I didn't seem to need to use the closed cycle at all to get to orbit. So anyways, we are almost reaching orbit. The rest should be easy from here. I think I'll probably have to cut it here for this episode. I've already been going for quite a while, so probably leave the conclusion of this mission for the next episode, but I think I'll at least get it into orbit in this episode. I'm noticing here that it doesn't have that much liquid fuel left, so I'm fairly confident I can get this to the Mun. I'm not sure how easily I can get back. I certainly hope I don't get stranded there, but I guess if worse comes to worse, I could always refuel at the Mun station. See, this is why it's good to have those stations all over the place, so that you can be safe and rest assured that you're actually going to be able to get back. These long burn times with nuclear engines, always annoying. So here I am starting my burn. Circularize. Here I decided to use the rapier engines just to get rid of the oxidizer, because at this point I'm not going to need it again in the mission, and it's basically just dead weight. So it's better for me to just burn it off. You're going to see me use them for the insertion burn to the mud. And here, in case you didn't see them before, are the two small communication satellites. Okay, and we are in orbit. Okay, judging by how much fuel we have left, I guess this should be enough to at least get me to the mud. I'm a little bit disappointed with how much I have left, though. I thought I would have at least a 3/4 tank at this point. I guess having 4 rapier engines, even in air breathing mode, uses up quite a lot of fuel. Anyway, here's my burn to get to the mud. This is the last thing you'll see for this episode. So at this point, just a quick note, it becomes clear that I do not have enough fuel to actually circularize properly around the mud. So I'm going to be using a free return trajectory, which you'll see me plan out in case, I don't know, if you want to learn how to do that, you'll see it next episode. So anyway, that's it for this time. Enjoy. I'll see you next time.